Okay. Hopefully we'll be able to get some of the other students, I didn't know for sure if we should even do something like this because obviously it's so different doing something on Zoom than doing something in person. And usually you guys know we do a pizza lunch and we usually have some speakers and have the seniors kind of share. But I thought at least try to get together with some of you guys and just kind of, like I said, kind of maybe do some reflection and hopefully it'll be kind of a good thing. But first of all, too, we just want to tell the seniors how much we are sorry that you didn't get your typical traditional senior year, and that we know that you're going to all survive, but it's still, we just wanted to acknowledge it. And we know it was kind of a tough, second semester for you, but we're just glad that you're here today and that you're going to share a little bit, hopefully give a little insight on how you dealt with everything. So first of all, we're going to start and we're going to have Jack and Ellie share a little bit because, just like last year, the last 3 years, whenever I would go to Jack and Ellie and ask them to help with anything, they were like, sure, whatever you need. And when I emailed them about a week ago and said, hey, would you guys do this? And they were both like, yep, whatever you need. So we're just going to start and if you guys have questions, you can either do the chat or else you can, we'll have a little bit of time for questions at the end too, but we're just going to start. If you two want to unmute yourself and then just each share just a little bit about what you've kind of been involved in and some things that about your last year.
Yeah, so I can go ahead and go first. So like Mrs. Langen said, I'm Ellie. I graduated last spring, so I just completed my freshman year at Iowa. I'm studying business analytics and accounting, and I just wrapped up my freshman year last week. So we had our finals, and that's all done with. And then I'm now working from home in Cedar Falls, doing an internship in my field of study. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now and what I'll be doing for the rest of the summer. And then hopefully I'll be going back to Iowa City sometime in August if they allow for my sophomore year.
And yeah, I'm Jack. I'm at the University of Iowa as well. I'm majoring in enterprise leadership. I'm on the football team, and I just got done with school too, so that's awesome. But other than that, not much.
Good. So the next thing, can you at least just share some things that maybe you've been doing during since spring break, since we've all been kind of cooped up and been home? How have you been spending your time?
Yeah, so I've been kind of getting back into some like hobbies I used to have. I know personally my freshman year was just like crazy busy. I felt like I had no free time just because I was filling it with so many things. So when I got back from spring break and then we were like here for the rest of the semester, it was kind of like a wake up call for me because I had so much free time and like didn't have any fun things to do anymore. So I've just been like trying to work out a lot and like go walking around like Big Woods Lake and stuff. So that's kind of the big thing I've been doing, just like going outside more. But then I'm also trying to get back into like making DIY crafts and like wall art for my apartment next year. So just small stuff like that, not super exciting, but I have more free time. So it's kind of fun just to have hobbies and like mindlessly do stuff. So.
Good. Thank you for sharing. Jack, what about you?
Yeah, for me, it's been just getting outside, spending a lot of time with my family, because on a normal year, I wouldn't get to see them as much. And then also just I still have a couple meetings that I have to do and just like working out as well. So I've kind of filled my time with all that stuff. So.
Good. Well, talk a little bit about like, I know we talked about this a little bit before about like, but what impact did being in MVP have when you first went to college, and what kinds of things did they do at the beginning of the year that maybe helped you because you had been in MVP?
Yeah, so most colleges are going to make the freshmen do some kind of course before you start. Sometimes it happens during the summer, sometimes it happens during the first few weeks of classes in the fall. But at Iowa, they kind of make you do a course where you watch videos and read different things about like alcohol use, sexual harassment, bullying, things like that we talk about in MVP. So having that like exposure before those really helped. I know that sometimes the things that we talk about in MVP, it doesn't really seem like, they might not apply directly to high school situations and they might seem unrealistic, but a lot of times in that transition to college, those situations happen a lot more. So just having that exposure, it kind of helped me when taking that course before starting school, just, know what to expect and just have a little bit more knowledge going in.
Yeah, I think Ellie kind of nailed it right on the head just about the course that you're required to take. And I just feel like MVP kind of just prepares you because high school and college are not very similar at all. So it's like it kind of prepares you for situations that you'll face.
Good. Was there any situations that maybe you kind of ran across, or you don't have to share specific, situations, but was there anything that was similar that maybe you had some practice when you were teaching the lessons or anything?
Yeah, I would say that, those situations definitely do happen more in college. It's not ideal and no one wants that, but, there are a lot more people, there's a lot more going on, and there's a lot of freedom that people are choosing to use in different ways that they might have in high school. So I definitely would say that I have encountered those situations more in college, and, just having those conversations during leading MVP while also being in MVP, just like knowing, some ways to get out of those situations. Little things like that can really make a difference. So just kind of having that knowledge and not just being a bystander in situations. I feel like personally I have applied things that we've talked about in MVP and been able to kind of use those as, that transition from high school to college happened.
Good.
Yeah, for me, I mean, like Ellie was saying, like kids are away from their parents and there's like a lot more freedom and opportunity to do things. So it's almost like on a weekly basis, I guess, that you probably be confronted in these situations. And I just feel like being an MVP just kind of prepared me to not, I wouldn't, I tried it. I mean, if I had to diffuse a situation, but I really didn't like diffuse it that much. I just kind of use my like tactics and like tools that I learned to just make sure that like everyone got out safely, I guess, and like so yeah, probably yeah.
But like you said, that there's a lot more freedom, isn't it, when people first get out to college, and sometimes they don't make as wise a decisions maybe as they should. So good. So what other advice would you have for the seniors that as they are stepping into their next step for college, or I think most of you guys are probably going to college, but do you have any advice for the students that are in the MVP?
Yeah, I would say that it sounds kind of cliche, but just stepping out of your comfort zone. I know that, when you arrive at campus, wherever you're going, or maybe you're just staying at home, either way, it's going to be a change. So just kind of being comfortable, stepping out of your comfort zone and trying new things. That was a big thing for me. I just like wanted to get as involved as possible. And it was like really, it was weird for me just to walk up at like a career fair or a organization fair and just like introduce myself and, kind of step out of my comfort zone like that. But it honestly paid off so much for me in the long run. I've like really established connections through the organizations I've joined and such. So I would just recommend like stepping out of your comfort zone. Everyone's kind of in that new position. So you're not the only one that's uncomfortable and like feeling kind of iffy about, walking up to random people and introducing yourself. So I would just say that. Hopefully you guys get the experience to experience those things in the fall. If not, hopefully in the spring. But as soon as it happens, just no matter what, just trying new things, because there's so many opportunities in college that you just don't get in high school. So it's almost a waste to just pass them up, I would say.
Yeah, pretty much just like kind of similar. Like I felt like in my own life, a lot of personal growth happened when I was like stepped out of my comfort zone. So kind of what Ellie was saying, just step out of your comfort zone, and then also I feel like just like don't be afraid to fail and make mistakes, because like that's what I figured out is like you learn from them, and then like you just move on. So I feel like just don't be afraid to fail and make mistakes, and then also just like I feel like you should find a group of like really good friends or find like a community or something and just like kind of get involved on campus, and just I feel like that makes your first year a lot easier if you have a couple of really close friends that you can kind of like go through everything with. So.
Alright. So kind of some similar things that you guys have told our incoming freshmen when we've had that orientation time, or to again step out of your comfort zone and don't be afraid to fail, do some of those things. So thank you. Does anybody else have questions for Jack or Ellie? Anything they're dying to know? They said they'd answer anything.
I have a question. What's the thing you missed most about Cedar Falls that you realized you didn't appreciate enough, and then when you went out to college, you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much I missed that?
That's a really good question. I would say for me, it was probably just like my close group of friends. I know that, when you go to college, it's so big. At first it feels big. Even if you are in like a residence hall, you're still living in the same building as a couple thousand students, So really just like having that close knit community, it kind of took longer, I would say, in college to build those connections than it did in high school. So I guess the atmosphere, maybe just like that small friendly atmosphere where you do walk through the hallway and you recognize everyone and can say hi. I feel like that's a little bit less common in college. So you really have to like go out of your way to make that happen, because that's not just going to happen naturally like it does in high school. So I probably would just miss that like small community feel, the like fun atmosphere.
For me, I probably miss the schedule and the workload. It's just a little different in college, so I guess I don't know. So.
Whoa, wait, in a good way or like a bad way?
I definitely miss high school's schedule in a good way, and like it, because I feel like college is just so much more busy and so much more work. But I mean, it's not that bad. All you gotta do is show up to class and you'll be all right.
Jack, what was football like though? Was that what you thought it would be, or was it a lot more intense?
I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It's good. I mean, I can't complain. You're expected to do everything, so you just gotta do it.
You just got to do it. That's awesome. Oh, good. Anybody else have any questions? Well, we really appreciate you guys coming back and just kind of filling us in what you've been doing and just kind of sharing a little bit on, your perspective. And I think, again, it just kind of helps these guys kind of prepare. So now, if we don't mind, and I don't know, because I know on the Zoom, everybody's a little lined up a little bit differently, but if we just kind of go through and go kind of one at a time, and if each of the seniors would share just a little bit, about, again, start off with why you even joined MVP, and then what kind of an impact it had on you during high school. And then any words of wisdom that you would want to share. And also if you want to share what you've been doing during the break, you can do that too. So do I have any volunteers that want to go first? Maddie Doden, do you mind going first?
Yeah, I can go first. Okay, so the main reason why I joined MVP was because I heard from one of my friends siblings that was older than her that he really enjoyed it and that it was a great group of people to be connected with. And so I just heard a lot of good things from some older peers, and so that's why I wanted to join. And the impact it had on me was that whenever I would help a student during lunch, each Friday, I just I knew that I could help in little ways. And at first she really didn't want to go to the meetings, but our last meeting she finally told me, she was I really appreciate everything you've done for me. And it just really had a huge impact on me, because just spending a little bit of time with someone made her so happy. And then I would just say my words of wisdom to get through quarantine is what do you want to be remembered for? Do you want to be remembered for someone that was lazy during this time, or someone that did something important, so or learned a new task or did something that they enjoy? That's what I have to say.
And also share what your plans are for next year.
Okay, my plans for next year are to go to Iowa State University for marketing and entrepreneurship.
Perfect. And I do want to mention, because there was 3 young women who actually did the mentoring every week. Maddie met with a student. I know we had more volunteers that said they would do that in the beginning, but we didn't have as many students. But Maddie and I can't remember the other 2. But that was really helpful too. And thank you for doing that, because that made a huge impact. Ryan Westoff, you want to go next?
So, see, I joined MVP because it was a pretty low stakes, and it wasn't too much work, but it was just an easy way to just get involved and have like important conversations with other students. And I guess the impact it had on me, it made me more conscious of both of the issues we were talking about and how it like presents itself among people our age, and just the ability, additionally learning just the ways to have conversations about that are actual conversations, as opposed to just like an offhand maybe saying something and then not really addressing it. Words of wisdom, I'd say do what makes you feel productive, but also don't sweat the idea of not being productive. Like, you should, if you just really don't want to do anything, at least right at this point, if you don't want to do something and you feel all worked up about just the pressure to be doing something, just take it easy on yourself. You shouldn't have to do something. But then again, if you want to be doing something, go out and find something that you're interested in to do. I'm going to go to Iowa this fall and major in ethics and public policy. So.
All right. And that's really good advice, though. Again, don't feel pressure to do things either. Just do them if you want to do them. That's probably good for the whole COVID time that we've been home. So thank you. Rachel, do you want to go next?
Of course. So I joined MVP in the beginning. I mostly wanted to do the first day of school thing. I just thought that was the coolest thing ever, just to support the sophomores. And that was probably the main reason I joined. I just love that first day. And I just like the idea of having a group of leaders, and how Ryan was talking, having conversations. I think that's always nice. What was the next thing we were supposed to talk about?
Just some advice, maybe some things that, maybe just some advice that you would give to people, and just what you were doing.
Oh, sorry. I guess what I've been realizing sorry, it's hard to talk to people. I haven't talked to people for so long. During quarantine, I think I've realized my priorities and just putting people first. I've been able to spend a lot of time with my family, and that's been really important to me, and made me realize like that's always over school or over like anything else, is that I want to make sure I'm putting people over a schedule or anything like that. And I actually been a little overloaded with homework. It almost seems like it's been more work now that we're not at school, but like when it's between going on a bike ride with my family or having to like finish assignment, I have been putting my family first. And I think that's something that maybe before, like I wouldn't go to a basketball game because I want to, and I think there's responsibility in that, but also I think just like living in the moment and making sure that you're balancing what's important to you. And I think that's what I've been realizing and learning during this time, is I always want to put people first. And I will be going to Iowa State next year, and I will be majoring in landscape architecture for now. We'll see. Might change, but yeah.
Perfect. So we got two Iowa State, one Iowa so far. And then Elena, do you mind going next?
Absolutely. So I first joined MVP because Young Kent asked me to, and I thought it would be a great opportunity for me to kind of get some more leadership experience, and also because I was looking to get involved in some groups at school, but I didn't exactly know where to start. And so this was a great place to do that. I think the thing that's made the most impact on me is just making relationships with those sophomores, because I get to talk to people that I probably wouldn't otherwise get the chance to talk to. I know my junior year, Sophia and I were mentors together, and we had a really great group of girls that we were with. And I know that like when we saw them in the hallway from then on, we would say hi, and like that relationship meant a lot. So I think that was really cool. Words of wisdom, I think Rachel hit it right on the head. That was some great advice, Rachel. My advice would be just, yeah, like I've spent a lot of time working on what I want to do later in life and focusing on what my passions are and kind of doing some self-discovery. So I would suggest doing that. And my plan for next year is to go to Dayton and play volleyball and major in communications and journalism.
Woohoo! Miss Youngkin is just coming on, just as you said her name.
Perfect.
So we gotta wait a second until she comes on. But I think that perspective, again, get that, especially for some of you who are going away to college too, it's kind of nice to have that time before you go. So, Miss Youngkin, are you here?
I am here. I don't know how good my connection is, but I'm here now.
Well, it was funny because just right before you came on, Elena was sharing and she mentioned your name. So it was kind of like she mentioned your name and then all of a sudden you were here.
I could hear her. You mean Elena, the birthday girl?
Yes, yes.
All right. Just making sure.
Thank you.
That is exciting. Okay, thanks you guys. All right, Lily, do you mind going next?
No, I can go. So I joined MVP because my sister was in it the year before me, and she got like the leadership awards and like all like the good things, and I was like, well, I can probably do that. So then I joined. And I think MVP really helped me because it helped me become friends or like know people who I usually wouldn't have talked to. Like we would do like the training before the sessions in the health classrooms with people that I just like didn't know that well. So I thought that that was pretty cool. It also helped me talk to sophomores that I didn't know very well. And then also some words of wisdom that I have for quarantine is that like you're allowed to have like bad days where like you feel like you're not doing anything and you feel like nothing really matters and like this sucks. Like that's allowed to happen because you also have days where like it's good. So you can have days where you aren't really feeling good. So yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
And then I'm going to University of St. Thomas in St. Paul, Minnesota next year, and I'm going to be majoring in biomedical sciences on a pre-med track.
Oh, good for you. But Lily, thanks for bringing that up because again, everybody, there were bad days in there. That was bound to happen, especially when you have not get to do the things that you experience. So I appreciate you sharing that a lot. And just so you know too, hopefully MVP might look a little different next year for some of the students because you know the sophomores have required power hour, and so we're going to hopefully maybe do some things where more of the kids get the MVP because more and more students are doing health online, and so not everybody's getting it as much. So yeah. Lauren Wilson, do you mind sharing?
Yeah, I'm a junior, but do you still want me to share?
Sure, I do.
Okay. So I kind of joined MVP for similar reasons, just a good leadership opportunity, and a good way to get to know kids that I probably wouldn't already know. I'd also say it helped me, kind of like what Ryan was saying, to talk about difficult topics, because I think that's sometimes we just glaze over things and just don't try and talk about it, but MVP helped me learn how to just bring those things up and help deal with difficult situations. And then what else do you want me to talk about?
You can share what you've been doing over through the time and give a little advice, maybe how you handle that.
Okay, yeah, so I'd say I've been doing a lot of school stuff. We had AP exams this week. So that was a little bit stressful, but I've also been doing workouts and just spending a lot of time with family, like Rachel said. And my wisdom, I guess, would be just find a way to encourage other people, even though you can't be with them. You can find, like, send an encouraging note or whatever, because I know a lot of people are struggling. So that's what I've been doing.
That's awesome. And I know, Maddie, you also did that Please Pass the Love thing and shared some of those things on that Padlet too. So thank you for doing that. That's really good. Thank you, Lauren.
Yeah.
Natalie Lang. Would you like to go next? Natalie? Whoops, is she?
Yeah, I couldn't hear it. Sorry about that.
That's
so
okay.
I joined MVP to I enjoy having like hard discussions, as viewers that say, like I like talking about uncomfortable topics. So like consent and sex, I'm ready. So I really think education is important to like stop further like issues that could happen, like especially now we're seeing with like race, like the problem. So I'm really all for like educating and just like awareness and stuff, and just like for the future generation. One thing I've really learned during quarantine is just like taking time for myself is okay, and like doing what I want to do is like always a good option, not what I have to do, like homework, because I do have more free time. So that's been good to like not have it more. So, and I'm going off to Iowa State next.
Will you repeat what you're going into? We got Iowa State and then we lost you. Oh.
Wait for medical.
One more time. We lost you again.
Medical illustration.
That's right. Medical. All right. Thank you, Natalie. Well, and it is, what we've always talked about, that one of the challenges is about talking about those topics, but if you guys are comfortable with them, and Natalie, I think that always showed when you were a facilitator, because you made everybody comfortable when you talked. So thank you. Sarah, do you mind sharing? I know you're only a junior, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm a junior.
Do you mind sharing?
Yeah, I'll share. So I joined MVP because I knew some upperclassmen that were doing it, and I thought it sounded fun. And MVP, it kind of made me realize that it's okay to step out of your comfort zone and talk to people that you might not always talk to, because it can turn out to be a really good thing. And words of wisdom, I would say, like, find out what's really important to you and what you really enjoy spending time doing, especially during quarantine. Like, it made me realize that maybe school isn't the most important thing, even though it is important. I've taken time to do other things.
Good. I think we've heard that a little bit. Thank you, Sarah. Holly, do you mind going next? Holly Hayes. Whoops, can you unmute yourself?
So I was actually on the fence when I was first thinking about MVP, but then I got the notification that I was nominated to be an MVP. And so that was kind of just like the push that you're going to be an MVP. And what I've learned in MVP was just that, well, it really was just like, it kind of broke me out of my little shell. Like, my sophomore year, I wasn't involved in like anything, and now I can say that I got to be in theater, I got to be in so many different like kind of groups. I got to help start Active Minds, and it's really just taught me that it's okay to be yourself in front of everybody. And something I would tell the underclassmen is, don't be afraid of the sophomores. They really like to talk to the upperclassmen. Like, it was early one morning and I was in the band hallway and I met a sophomore who like was still like just kind of finding her way through the school, and like I finally got to like meet a sophomore that I never knew, but had very similar interests in me. And then next year, I am going to UNI to major in music performance.
Good for you. That's awesome. That's awesome. So again, I think that getting to know people too that you never would have met if you wouldn't have done MVP, that's a big one too. And that kind of sets the stage for as you step out to that next part of your life. So perfect. Kaylee Reed.
Hello. Sorry, I hope the wind doesn't bother you guys when I'm talking. Okay, so the reason I joined MVP would probably be because like when I was a sophomore and they came in as mentors in my health room, I just like wanted to be a part of that when I was an upperclassman because I could see like how much of an impact it has on us. Like it had an impact on me. I don't know. And it really like affected me, like learning about all those different topics that like might not get talked about as much. I don't know. Let's see what's up. Oh, something that has impacted me through MVP would be like the connections. I love building connections, especially with like the sophomores. I just love mentoring them in health classes. My words of wisdom, I would say just step out of your comfort zone and get involved in like groups like this because I think it's definitely changed me and it's like helped me become a better leader and also be able to talk about topics that might not be like talked about as much as I don't know other topics. And I'm going to be going to Iowa State this fall and I'm going to be majoring in undecided design. I'm not quite sure what I want to do yet, but I'm looking at graphic design and architecture. So
That's awesome. Well, Kaylee, I remember you telling me one time too that, I mean, I think, you know, a lot of times you have people have personal experiences and they don't realize until maybe discussions that, you know, things were inappropriate or that maybe things should be made a bigger deal than they were. But kids don't always know that. And that's where I think the counselors will attest to that. A lot of times we'll have students come in to the counseling office after certain MVP lessons because they didn't realize that, you know, some of those things were not okay. So
yeah,
make a huge impact. Thank you. Omni.
All right, so I joined MVP, well, mostly because you asked me to, but I also just wanted to get involved at Cedar Falls. The main impact it had on me probably boosted my confidence a lot in like situations that like aren't talked about a lot in like society. And I think my 10th graders I probably learned as much from my 10th graders as they learned from me, like just having those discussions with them about like topics like that. So yeah, it just really solidified my opinions on like social topics. What was the next question?
Just maybe a little bit of advice and then your plans. But I gotta tell you, Nami too, you had probably some of the hardest classes, I think, and biggest classes too. That one you had big class and they were rough.
Yeah, so my words of wisdom probably be just kind of along the same lines as everyone else. Just stay positive through quarantine. Yeah, just do what makes you happy, I guess. Like make sure that you're doing your stuff, but yeah. And for my future plans, I'll be attending Wartburg to study biology and play basketball. So.
Oh, good for you. Awesome.
So nice.
Got a former Wartburg. Okay, and last but not least, Sophia. That's everybody, right? Yeah. Sophia.
Hi.
Oh shoot, you're kind of.
So I joined P because I got recommended and
Oh, we're having really big trouble.
MVP because I wanted to be involved.
She wanted to be involved.
You're hard to hear.
Oh, kid, I'm sorry, we're not hearing you at all. Maybe you could write down what, just real quick, a couple things. Oh, Sophia, I'm sorry. There it is. Okay. Joined MVP because I wanted to positively impact the school and connections that I made with. I don't know if she's done. There we go. Sophomores was so rewarding, especially when I led a group with Elena. Well, you know, I've always said this too, some words of wisdom. Appreciate the little relationships with people. That's perfect. And then share what you're doing next year, Sophia.
I'm trying.
At the University of Iowa to study Spanish and sociology. So awesome. You know, that's kind of a perfect way to put, you know, to put the end again. You guys, you don't realize those little things that have made an impact on those students. And you obviously don't, you know, you also know that you made a big impact when you did lessons and things like that. But it was a lot of times the little things that probably really made a difference. So thank you for all that everybody has done. That's awesome. So mostly just, you know, again, like we talked about next year, things might look a little bit different. So if you know sophomores or juniors, I did get the teacher recommendations just the other day. We have quite a few teacher recommendations. So tell your people, if you know them, that if they get a teacher recommendation, to fill that out. And then also encourage some of your students, because, you know, again, you guys know this too, we need a real diverse group. You know, we have great kids, but we also need a real diverse group to be in MVP. So especially students that maybe you think you don't even know very well, you could ask them if they wanted to be involved. So do any of the counselors, anybody, or Miss Young Kent, I don't know if she might have lost her connection. Is there anything else you guys would want to say, or any words of wisdom?
I don't know. This is a pretty wise group, wise beyond their years. No, we just, we just appreciate so much when you guys are able to step in and help out with all the stuff that you did for MVP, and being willing to attend all the meetings and the trainings, and hopefully that you enjoyed some of that and got some more things out of it. And I think I just really like how you guys have said, you know, the patience of quarantine right now, and just trying to focus on the things that are important. And I just think that that's pretty amazing that you guys are able to have that positive vibe, and you'll be able to give that to other people too from this experience. I mean, I just think how much you guys are learning from all of this, and how you'll carry that with you for the rest of your life, really. So thank you guys.
And I would just, as the new person this year, I would say thank you to all the leaders here in the group. I'm beyond impressed by the caliber of students that we have at Cedar Falls. You made my first year really easy to transition because you were all very supportive, whether you know it or not. And I know that you passed that on to our juniors and our sophomores. And so even though you're leaving us this year, there's a piece of you that stays at Cedar Falls. And I hope that as you go off and have these amazing adventures, you come back and share your successes with us. Because even though this is kind of like the end of a chapter, it's not the end of the book. And we will always be here to cheer you on and support you.
Oh, thank you. That was awesome. So just always remember, we'd love to have you come back and visit us. Make sure you stay in touch. Make sure you take care of yourself. Make sure you keep doing what you do and helping others too. But I really appreciate you guys jumping on today and doing this. And then we'll share this, with the other members and stuff too. So hopefully they'll watch it, because it really, again, is kind of impactful to hear your reflections and different things. Jack and Ellie, we really appreciate you guys coming on again and joining us. It's always good to see you and just hear what you've been up to. And thank you again for all the things that you did for MVP when you were here, and as you continue to, go out and make even a bigger impact at college. So that's all I have, unless anybody has any other comments or suggestions or anything like that. One more wish to Elena for her happy birthday.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining. Jack and Ellie especially. Thank you.